we're live.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself?
You know what, man? It's been a rough go this week, brother. Rough go. A lot of family, a lot of work stuff.
Okay.
All happening, but something about putting down the wax that just puts me in a good mental space, man. I enjoy
Purpose,
that.
my brother. Purpose.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, purpose.
Yeah, man.
That's really what it's about for me, man.
Yeah.
You got any drinks?
No, I don't.
You good?
Nope. I am sitting over here with zero.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
Two, so I wasn't sure
That
what's
ain't
going
gonna
on.
work. We had a plethora of things available.
Yeah.
We got some brown, we got some white, we got some other things, but
You know,
we'll do it this way.
nothing like
We don't have
strawberry
to-
lemonade.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Truly.
Yes, dieting. We are carbs and calories.
Yes,
Gotta
we are.
watch them all.
Yes, we are.
And you cracked that right under the microphone.
Right up on it. I want people to really get the full experience.
Oh, they feel like they in the can right now. The lights is going. How you? What are you doing?
Try not to joke.
Okay, be careful. You good? Gee, the drink almost took my man's out the game.
Man, citrus.
That's interesting. Lights is on as
Yes,
always,
sir.
y'all.
Check.
Let me check the lights. Mic's working.
Check.
About as good as it's gonna get. That's what we bring it to the table, y'all. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey.
Before we get going with this conversation, let's go ahead and start the show, Nate. BWYF at gmail.com.
Welcome.
I'm B West, that's Nate.
Yes, sir.
Down on the boards as always. Well, it's not sound checked as Mike at
good,
all
it's
this
good,
afternoon. But yes, down on the boards. Like, subscribe, share, notifications bell. Email the show.
Yes,
We
indeed.
want to hear from y'all. Can't
Yeah.
wait to hear from y'all.
Yeah.
BWYF at gmail.com. No caps, no spaces. Keeping it real simple out here in these streets.
Best way to keep it, man.
Best way to keep it. I really enjoyed this. Probably way more than I should.
Don't take away from the experience. Take it all in, man.
I'm looking forward to this being the only job I got.
For sure.
I cannot wait.
For sure.
With all being said, let me ask you a couple questions, Nate. As a man, we wear a lot of hats.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
There's the husband hat, there's the father hat, and then when you get a house, you end up wearing a carpenter hat, an electrician hat,
Yes,
a
sir.
plumber hat, a
Yeah.
chef hat,
Yep.
a landscaper hat.
Yeah.
Like, all of them is your job,
Yes.
right? But we're going to start with the ones at the top, the ones that count the most, the husband and the father.
Indeed.
Which one do you take pride in which one is more important? Which one come first? Are you a husband first or a father first?
Husband first.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting. I classify myself as a father first.
Okay.
I don't think there's a wrong answer. I can't sit here and say that either one of us are wrong, but I am curious as to why you classify yourself as a husband first.
I'm equally as curious as to why you classify as a father. I think we're going to say the same thing.
I'm listening.
The husband role for me is a twofer because I believe that children have an advantage when they have both parents united as a model of possibility for them.
Yes, I would agree.
The family is an institution for wealth. So I want to pass down generational wealth by giving them that picture in their memory of being covered by two parents in one household, seeing the ups and downs. To me, that's a big part of being a father for them, is executing my role as a husband, because they're going to date me.
I'm not disputing on if
I got 2 girls, y'all.
Yeah. How old are your girls, if your mom me asking?
3 and 7.
Oh, that's why you feel that way, because the oldest one only 7.
Yeah.
So, okay, that makes sense. When my oldest was 7, I had that same mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That shit don't read. It don't. Long story short, that shit don't read. Here's why.
Okay.
It's because what you're doing is laying the foundation for a beautiful person to build on.
Okay.
You're setting the standard. But what's going to happen is that your child, as you did, as your wife did, as I did, and as my wife did, made decisions.
Okay.
And the decisions we make is not always to follow the standard, the norm. The decision is not always to be what we saw. Sometimes we want to be different. Sometimes we don't want to be different. Sometimes we want to, I really enjoyed this and I really enjoyed that, but I didn't enjoy this so much. So I'm going to make some alterations to it. And then a lot of times it's just as simple as, this looks like more fun.
Okay.
This looks like it's going to hold my attention more. This looks like it's going to be more interesting than what the standard is. And if any of those things happen, then you end up with a child who's standing there who's consciously telling you that I made a decision to do this, this, and this. And you're going, well, why the fuck did you do that?
Okay.
And as your kids get older, you're going to start to see that. It was a harsh reality for me.
Okay.
That I laid the foundation. I wanted both my kids to see and understand what, in my eyes, it took to be in a committed relationship and make it work.
Okay.
I wanted them to see the ups and downs. I wanted them to be able to see the good and the bad and all of that stuff. I never protected my kids from what was going on in the house. There was a lot of things that was happening that wasn't none of their damn business, but it was also some things that directly affected them, and I definitely involved them in the thought processes behind it.
Okay.
So that they didn't have to wait as long as I did to start developing the understanding that I have as an adult.
Right.
But what happens is like I said, they make decisions. And it's interesting because it took me a while to realize this as a parent. A fuck up on my kids' behalf does not warrant an emergency upon me. And I cannot hold myself accountable for every decision that my child makes.
Right.
So if you find yourself in a situation where your child has committed some sort of crime, if you find yourself in a situation where your child is dating someone who you don't approve of, if your child has sought a career in an area that you do not see as being a smart, profitable venture, if your child is dating someone that you do not approve of. Did I already say that?
You did. You came back to it. I'm going to ask you about it later. No worries.
Came back to it. So if any of that type of stuff happens, it is not a direct reflection upon what you did or the foundation that you laid. It simply states that your child made a decision.
Okay.
And how you handle it is however you handle it. Sometimes, we both know parents that have thrown their kids to the wolves. We both know parents that never let go when they probably should have. And I know some parents that did it just right. They held them accountable for their actions and at the same time helped them up when they fail and so on and so forth. And that'll vary depending on the situation and the circumstances. I done definitely left my kids high and dry before.
Okay.
I done definitely been there to hold them. Under the circumstances of each situation is interesting how that whole thing works, but yeah, it gets dicey.
Now, when you say it doesn't read, are you speaking specifically for you?
Parents in general.
What parents?
Every parent that I know.
Okay, so that would be you in particular.
Sure.
All right.
For the sake of conversation, we'll put me in particular.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
Because I tend to try to speak from a data standpoint, like with knowing how, at least since the 60s, there's been a steady decline of the family structure.
Yes.
And seeing kids read at a 4th grade level in high school.
Yeah.
Coming from households that didn't have both parents.
Yes.
And some of the other things that go along with that. When you choose to have a child on your own, in many cases, you're choosing poverty.
You ain't lying about that shit, boy.
So there's some decisions that have to be made intentionally. Speaking of the importance of fatherhood, fathers should really be picking the men that their daughters date. The brother should be vetting them. The father should be vetting them. The grandfather, the uncles should be vetting any man who's going to be joining the family via the daughter.
So let me ask you this: as a man with daughters, do you plan on picking your daughter's boyfriend?
Absolutely.
So if you don't approve, she can't see him.
Not true. I'm going to be there as a parent. To again set a model of possibility through my own actions.
Yes.
Also try to surround her with men that I would approve of. Using my barber techniques.
I appreciate the barber techniques. It's interesting to me though, because traditionally it's human nature for that particular age group, and I'm preaching to the choir right now because I know you already know this. Teenagers want to do what their parents don't let them.
And where has that gotten them?
Nowhere, but they still doing it, and it's been happening for generations.
Right.
Yours is going to be different?
Since the 60s.
Yours is going to be different? The things that you tell your daughter not to do is the shit that she's not going to do?
I can't predict any of that. But what I can say is that hopefully our relationship is to the point where she values my opinion or my perspective. If not, then I have more work to do to establish that relationship with her.
Very much so.
Because rules without relationship equals rebellion.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of mothers and fathers
fail.
I've
applied rules and I've tried my best to maintain relationships, and I'm not sitting here saying my kids ain't never fucked up, because they damn sure have. But my opinion comes with a respectable perspective with my children. And I know that a respectable perspective.
Okay, it was a tongue twister.
A little bit. So what happens is when my kids fuck up, and they definitely do with the best of them, they come to me and say, yo, I kind of fucked this up, and I need to talk to you about it. We established a problem. We realized what the faults were. And again, I always tell them it's simpler to sit down and look back. Hindsight always says 20/20 vision.
Correct.
Always. So there's that aspect of it. I make sure we don't live in a problem. Whatever the problem has been created, we start working towards solutions.
Okay.
And it wasn't always like that. It definitely wasn't always like that. My kids would, hide the truth and lie to try to cover shit up, so on and so forth.
They grow as we grow.
I've grown as my children have grown, and so on and so forth. But I laid the foundation. And maybe this is just me. Maybe this is therapeutic for me right now, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that what you're doing ain't going to work. But I'm sitting here telling you that I laid the foundation. I did.
What foundation?
Them being able to see what I wanted for them. I never was a do as I say, not as I do type of parent. I've always led by example.
Okay.
I try my best to lead without words.
What example were you following?
Particularly for my oldest, I was trying to show her what a relationship should look like.
But I'm saying, based on where did you get that information to show her?
Life. I don't want to sit here and say I learned it from my mother and father, who divorced it when I was 8.
Okay.
Or anybody else. It was gumbo. It it was a little bit of this from over here and a little bit of that from over there, and I kind of pieced it together myself. But again, me piecing it together led to 14 plus years of marriage, but it took a long time to get there. So I'm not trying to give them I'm not trying to give them bits and pieces of the gumbo. I want them to be able to taste the pot.
Okay.
I want you to taste all the ingredients at once. I don't want you to have to go through what I went through to get this level of understanding, to see what negotiation in a relationship looks like, to see and understand what it looks like and feels like to not like somebody and it not escalate to violence, and then not escalate to screaming and yelling and things of that nature. I want people to be able to, I wanted my daughter to be able to see that.
Okay.
And although she has, the decisions that she makes, especially as far as her relationship go, be more frustrating than anything, because I'm like, this don't make no logical sense to me. And I sit down and I go, you do understand this? And she'd be like, yes. And I'm like, you do understand this? And she'd be like, yes. And you do understand this? And she'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, then why did you make this decision?
Right. Which is why fathers, brothers, and grandfathers
should be
and
picking?
uncles should be picking. Now, it says a lot about...
You gonna turn that girl loose?
It says a lot about... see, women are transmitters of culture. Meaning, if you want to know what type of stuff a family is into, just look at the women. They'll indicate it in some type of way. That's why they're the transmitters of culture. They're audible learners. Mm-hmm. Right? When a woman refuses to bring men to be vetted by the men in her family, it says a lot about that family structure, which, if we're talking about our particular family structures in general, they're typically matriarchal, not patriarchal. So I've learned in life never to take advice from women when it comes to dating and relationships. I don't think you ask a fish how to catch fish. It's just my opinion. I would ask a fisherman. So, I mean, there's plenty of fish.
Oh, I love it.
But anyway,
I love it.
It's just, especially as boys, not only are they reading at a fourth grade level in single parent households, but they're also being miseducated on women. If they're following the example of their single mother who couldn't make it work 9 times out of 10 with the father.
Yeah.
Right? And then when the stepfather comes in, it's a little bit of different of a dynamic, because most men want their own seed. And most men do not want to disrupt the dynamic that already exists with the existing child when he showed up.
Yeah.
Between that child and their father, or that child and their mother. So there's a lot of pieces and parts to that.
Also, when you step into that situation, you're stepping into that situation because there's a void. For you to fill a void, that hole was there.
Absolutely.
And you might not be shaped like the hole. So for you to fill it,
absolutely,
you could step in the way, but there's gonna be some gaps.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna fit perfectly, and that's...
Studies show that when a person is born deficient of one parent, for whatever reason, that they typically develop a mindset of rejection.
Yeah.
And so...
Yep, because somebody who was supposed to be there from the beginning ain't.
There you go.
And why? Why didn't they care enough? Why didn't they love enough? Why didn't they...
Yeah.
Why? What happened?
Exactly.
Why did you leave?
And then they begin to make decisions from that rejected
based
place,
on that rejected mentality,
which turns into attention-seeking behavior later.
Mm-hmm.
The way we dress, the way we talk, the jobs we pick, the money we make.
Yep. You start looking for the attention that you never got from the person that you were supposed to be getting it from.
And that means people are making decisions from a place of fear and lack. That's the importance of a father. To be there to teach their children the opposite of fear and the opposite of lack. A father is supposed to have an abundance mindset. Get back up. Try again. You'll hear stuff like that from a father.
Yeah.
You won't be introduced to Cardi B by your father 9 times out of 10.
But your mama be bumping that shit every time she leave the house. Every time she leave the house.
So there are certain things, because it's not about what you do. It's about what you don't do that sets you apart.
You ain't lying.
So there are certain things that a father does not do. And those things balance a child out. Those things balance a child out. And keep that child on a certain trajectory.
Yeah.
And even if they depart from it, they'll come back to it because that's the default. Is that foundation.
When you hit the reset button, and you every now and again in life, you got to hit the reset button, you find out exactly.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So we started the conversation. I asked you, are you a husband or a father first? I see myself as a father first.
Okay.
I treat my wife the way that I treat my wife. That comes standard. All right, they see it. Since I've been around in my daughter's life and my son's entire life, they've never seen their mother need too much of nothing.
Okay.
And it ain't always about if she needed, somebody to talk to or a new car in the driveway or some of that. I've been there from jump.
Okay.
With whatever it was. Sometimes I've looked at my wife and said, you done lost your damn mind.
Okay.
And that's because that's what she needed to hear.
Right.
I've also looked at my wife and said, you know what? You right. Because, goddamn it, she was right.
Right.
Like, whatever it was that needed to be happening, they watched me do it. So that was that. Now, my wife, as far as I'm concerned, is a grown-ass woman.
Okay.
And is already molded.
Okay.
I understand her level of crazy, and I can deal with it on the relationship side.
Okay.
My wife is an amazing mother, and because of that, it gives me the opportunity to be an amazing father.
Okay.
And I take the father responsibility over being a husband first.
Okay.
Because my children need to be molded.
Okay.
If I packed my shit and left with the kids, my wife would be fine. If I packed my shit and left without the kids, my wife would be fucked because they wouldn't have a father.
Okay.
As far as my daughter goes, she's a little bit older, so the circumstances are a little bit different. But as you said, you don't ask fish how to catch fish, you ask a fisherman.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of things that my wife could teach my son about how to be a man.
Right.
That's my responsibility.
So she wouldn't be good.
So she wouldn't be good if I left. If I left without the kids, she would be up a creek. And she wouldn't even know it. She would step in because when I first got around, she was in single mom mode.
Absolutely.
So she would step back into those shoes and would be under the impression that because they wasn't hungry and the lights was on and the bills was paid, that they would be fine, when in fact
But that's actually shameful.
there would be some emotional shit happening on the backside of the whole situation.
Because that's just being an adult.
Yeah, that's being an adult. But
Congratulations.
there's some development shit that I'm providing for the kids just from being a man that she can't provide because she's never had to be.
Those are the intangibles.
Those are the intangibles. So
and
if
kids typically get messed up because they have too much of one parent.
So that's why I put the father shit first.
Okay.
Is because if you take me out of my kids' life, their development stops. There's some shit that they getting because they growing up in a 2-parent household that, like you just said, that they're getting from 2 parents. If you take one of the parents away, my kids would be a problem. If you take me away from my wife, she would be all right.
That doesn't say much, though.
As far as what?
I mean,
that she would be all right?
Yeah,
she's an adult. She's grown.
Right.
She figured this shit out.
Nothing special.
She figured this shit out.
Just an adult.
I mean, listen, she's the mother of my children. She's the love of my life. There's There's all of that shit.
But if you leave, then that's all moot. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Her being able to survive on her own as an adult isn't anything to mythologize, in my opinion.
No,
I look at it like this.
I'm not putting it on a pedestal. I'm just saying, if you took me away from the kids, it would be much more hindering upon them than it would be if you took me out of her life.
Well, there is no them without her, so there's really no separation.
Huh.
That's why it's all comes together.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? That's the whole point of getting married.
Hey, listen,
to continue the legacy.
Listen, damn it. I'm a father first. You ain't gonna change my mind.
Hey, not trying to change your mind, brother. Just throwing some things out there, you know.
You ain't gonna fool me on this shit. I see what you're trying to do, goddamn.
Nope. But I just was putting the pieces together, putting some paint where it ain't. That's all I was doing.
I don't know.
It's all connected, man.
You know, I agree with you. It is, but at the same time, it's just, you know what is interesting? Like, I feel that way now because my kids are still developing.
Absolutely.
If once they're grown and they started to use the skills and the resources that I've taught them over the years and applying it to their own life, and they start to see a little bit of success, probably be a husband first then.
You'd be able to go back to your foundation.
Yeah, they'll be like, yo, I made it.
Yeah,
I did it. Mission accomplished.
But then you'll have the grandkids. And you'll start over. Cartoons again, cereal.
I cannot wait to spoil the shit out of my grandbabies, bruh.
Yeah.
And I got some time. I got some quality time before that whole thing happens. But, dog.
How old is your oldest?
23.
Okay, so she is...
And that's been another episode of BWYF. Please go ahead and email the show at BWYF@gmail.com. Man, I'm not doing this shit with you.
No, but seriously though. Seriously.
No,
in all seriousness.
I am being serious.
Watch this. Wait. In all seriousness. Your role as a father is that much more important now than it's ever been.
Yes. No, it's crunch time for her. It's definitely crunch time for her. For real.
For literally,
stop it.
The next 5 years.
Yeah, it's go time.
It should be Mayweather training gym.
Listen,
when it comes to relationships,
it's like, been
you gotta vet everybody.
Yeah.
Nope. Next. Nope. And if she's not going to listen to you as a father, she's going to get in a relationship and be hard-headed as well. Because you learn submission from your father. You learn mirroring from your father. There are certain intangibles that you learn from your father that usher you into new seasons and new opportunities.
You learn submission from your father. You know, I know a lot of black women who do not like that term. Being submissive.
But them are fatherless.
Stop. Yeah, stop.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
We'll do that on a whole nother day.
Yeah.
What we got on time, Dom?
We are at 23 and a half minutes. No, 28 and a half minutes.
28 and a half minutes.
Look at us.
I know, right? And it's happened so naturally when it happens.
While we flying it, baby.
Build it while you fly. You heard what they said. Build it while you fly at gmail.com. Like, subscribe, share, email the show. Hit that little notifications bell. I'm really looking forward to hearing from y'all. I can't wait till y'all get to hear these, boy. It's all happening. It's all coming together.
Yes, sir.
You wanna close with anything?
Man, y'all have a great week out there, man.
Please do. We gotta find a call off for the show. We're gonna let it happen naturally. Just know we're still on the hunt for it.
Ready for landing? What did they say?
See, you're forcing it. You gotta just let it happen.
Ready for takeoff?
We're about to start our descent.
Preparing for landing. That's what they say.
Landing.
It's been a minute since I've been on a plane.
Don't they say we're about to start our descent? Put your seatbelts on. Put your
preparing
tray tables up.
Your seatbelt should already be on at that time, right?
Yeah.
Because you're flying.
What kind of flying?
Well, yeah, when you 3,000 feet in the air, yeah. But then they be like, yo, we about to head towards the ground.
Ain't
put
no
your seatbelt on.
coming off.
You don't take no seatbelts off on the plane?
What?
Why not?
No.
Bruh.
No.
What if you got a piss?
Especially if you flying Spirit.
Who the fuck flies Soul Plane?
Man,
I'm so cool on that shit.
there's a reason it's called Spirit.
Because the Holy Spirit is the only thing to keep that plane in the air. You ain't lying about that shit.
You start your flight as a human.
You get off that plane and kiss the tarmac, boy. Like, whew, Lord.
These companies just change the name and keep on ticking, man.
Bruh, listen. That used to be Value Jet.
Oh, jeez.
No, seriously, the last time I flew Spirit, we about to get off here. The last time I flew Spirit, I felt like Wile E. Coyote with a rocket on my back, some handlebars, and I'm just riding on the side of this motherfucker. Like, man, what the hell?
Yo, that is wild.
Like, man, can I get some water? Well, it's $9 for what?
They got
the water
every flight.
Man, listen, they charge you for your boarding passes. They charge you for your luggage. I'm like, I could have spent another $80 and flew Southwest. Both my bags would have flew free. Big shout out to you, Southwest. You done got me some places, boy.
You know what, Spirit? You hit us up too, man. You know, maybe things might change with a little endorsement.
Yeah, let's hope so.
You know, we'll see.
Listen, man, we need to stop mentioning folks by name till they start cutting checks around in this piece. We drinking juice. We fly planes. We ride cars.
Average everything.
Yeah, average everything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Shit. Till somebody cut the check. Anyway, like we said, BWYF@gmail.com is the email. Email the show. Like, subscribe, share. You could have been anywhere, but you here with us.
Appreciate
so look forward to hearing from you. With all of that being said, we holla.
Peace.